as of this tournament is certainly not Pure's. Pure have not been the best on capture the flag, and they really stepped it up in game types like Strongholds or King of the Hill. That's where they've been looking very good. Slayer Aquarius, like you said, that's going to favor FaZe. And honestly, even though in the past, Oddball has been kind of the Achilles heel of a FaZe roster, they sneakily became a really good Oddball team if you take a look at the stats, which is crazy. Clearly, they were working on their weaknesses and turned it into a strength.
That always seems to happen, Walshy, isn't it? It's like you kind of put your best on the back foot, you work on something else and that becomes your best, and then it's like, oh, whoops, we need to now work on that again. There are so many different game types and modes, it's hard to sometimes keep up with. You know, who would you say right now in the HCS has the best map depth?
Oh my gosh. I feel like it's got to be FaZe or Space Station. I feel like you can't look at any single map or mode against them and be like, well, that's a loss for them. Like, you count them in every single map and mode, and then some of them you almost think of them as unbeatable.
Indeed. Well, folks, we are ready to go on the main stage. I'm going to hand it on over to Walshy and Clutch. Folks, your day 2 here at Atlanta starts right now.
FaZe is, one, the brand and the logo. It's something that can never be recreated. It's a part of gaming history and internet history forever.
What does it mean to be great? What does it mean to be a champion? That who you looking for is right here.
Winning with this team also is another amazing thing, and I just think shows like how we're still consistent at this level, and we can, you know, just keep trying to dominate.
But as you say, FaZe Clan was built to do one thing, and that is win a world championship. FaZe Clan marches off to gaming, a tale as old as time, and one of the greatest esports rivalries to grace our screen. This is good. It's a 1v1. Frosty versus Frosty. Frosty will win it. 60 seconds left, and they are up 3-0.
HCS Major Atlanta, hosted by FaZe Clan.
It's Saturday, bracket play is kicking off, and we have FaZe Clan to do it for us and the home team. The crowd's starting to get a little bit more packed here in the stadium, and I'm very interested to see this FaZe Clan finally have some fans on their side that are going to be cheering them on in this series. It's Clutch, joined by Dave Walsh, the legend himself. A couple of championships under his belt in his prime. And now as we kick off bracket play, a championship will be won by the end of the weekend, and FaZe Clan probably the favorite to do it, but in order to advance in winners bracket round 1, they're gonna have to go through Pure. Dave, when you see this map layout, what specific map mode combination are you looking at for Pure to maybe push this series a little bit further?
I mean, I'm honestly looking at in reverse. I look at like the Street Slayer, and I feel like that's a great one because I think of how tricky and how fast-paced someone like Druk can be on that map. The rest of them, I feel like it's gonna be an uphill battle against FaZe. There's just so many ways that they can slow down the map on something like Argyle. So many ways they can collapse in on a team on live fire. Aquarius as well, they can slow it down at points. So it's just gonna be, it's gonna be very tough for them to get the pace that they would like to see, where Pure is gonna want to see this get a little faster. They're gonna want to stagger spawns a little bit more.
All right, well, it's gonna start this one off on Argyle CTF. And we have Frosty sitting in the window laying down some cross-map damage. You know Royal 2 got that sniper for this squad, and
look how defensive they are right away, too. Frosty and Royal 2 being like, all right, the action's coming to us. Let's slow it down for a moment. Normally, this is a time you'd see FaZe just pushing across the map, taking up more ground, but they know how aggressive this Pure roster is going to be, and people flying all across.
Yeah, they're waiting for Pure to make that mistake. Have one person maybe hit a G-slide out of position. Can we find that opening pick? Royal 2 able to pick up a kill there on to Pure, as the map's still being fought for as far as mid control right now, and Royal 2 hasn't left his window, and you know Pure's thinking maybe that sniper has pushed up, but Royal 2 finds an angle onto a player, hits a body shot. It's cleaned up for FaZe here, and just a passive play from Royal 2. He's gonna let this game come to him.
You aren't gonna outwait Royal 2. He's gonna be very patient, and as long as he has snipers, like, you know what, I can wait all day here. You know what, I'll wait for more snipe ammo if you want to.
Yeah, well, as many snipes as I can get. Right now, Druk is in his face trying to pull the flag, and because Royal 2 misses that shot, that flag is going to get pulled out of the window. Druk still taking damage. He didn't go with that flag, however, so that flag is going to get picked up by LastShot. Royal 2 goes down. FaZe on their back feet. 2 do go down. They need a couple of kills, Pure Dude, in order to continue this cap. However, 2 of them go down. It does look like that flag is going to be stopped for now.
That was a scary attempt, though, by Pure, though. If SnakeBite wasn't able to get that second kill on Druk before he grabbed that flag with that plasma grenade, that flag was going to be moving across the map, and that's one of the downsides of playing defensive. When you're playing defensive, you can generally set up some traps. You can set up area where someone's going to round the corner into a double team or into a snipe. But the downside of doing that is you're back on your half of the map, and if you do not get those kills secured, they're going to pull your flag and have a chance at a cap.
No room for error. You die once, your flag is on the move. You die on their side of the map, at least you'll have time to respawn. Great point, Walsh. Once again, that flag does get pulled, but it does not leave the window this time around. Cherished is behind enemy lines. He's been spotted and taken down. Frosty now has a snipe top middle, and you know Frosty likes to get aggressive with it. A shot on the Druk and a melee to match. Frosty is opening up the map. 3 go down for Pure. FaZe had the flag on the move.
Yep, and the very first time we're seeing them get 3 down on the map, like you said, flag is moving. But a great stop there. I believe that was Cherished finishing off Rail too. They're still trying to toss this one out. I like that by Frosty. Getting a touch on it, being there in case they need to get a double team, and then getting to the high ground, lay down shots. Taulek and Cherished get a couple kills though. This is not guaranteed just yet,
Beautiful.
but SnakeBite, great grapple and cap. Now they're trying to stop the counter.
Notice how Frosty threw that flag quantum back. SnakeBite had to grapple. The only reason FaZe capped this flag is because he was able to close the distance on that. He was the last player alive. He grapples the flag in. FaZe could take the lead, and now they have to defend their base. Can they come off spawn and find the kills? SnakeBite buys just enough time for the first kill to be fought, and that might stop Pure's ability to get a counter cap.
Yeah, I think there's been enough damage and enough kills there from FaZe that they are no longer worried about the counter cap. Now they're just trying to get some picks and move across the map. There's the first 2. Taulek and LastShot going down, and you know that FaZe is going to be aggressive here. But no, looks like they realize there's someone back at their base. This is a difficult decision to know what to do. Either you're pushing over towards the Pure base and putting on pressure on their flag, or you're clearing out your base. And it looks like FaZe decided to play defense since they're ahead.
Renegade with his chance to snipe. We've seen Roll 2 with it. We've seen Frosty with it. Now Renegade, he gets taken down. Everybody on FaZe has had a snipe in their hands besides SnakeBite, and everybody on FaZe is trying to make a play. But as I say that, because Renegade goes down, the rest of the team starting to fall like dominoes. 3 coming off respawn now for FaZe. It's the last shot. Can't make it up the back rim. The flag is now being pulled. There is a player on the side of the ledge. It's the last shot, doesn't see him. He gets the stick though, but Frosty gets the trade, and 2 go down for Pure. That flag should be stopped in return.
And what a perfect encapsulation of what we talked about on the defensive side. You have the element of surprise. You can set up some traps. You can set up some tricks that you can get on those players, but it can backfire.
Yeah, what a patient play by Frosty. I actually have never seen someone sit on that ledge. The only reason I did see it was to the observer view. We were able to see the outline there. Renegade losing a massive one-on-one there as the battle for mid-control won by LastShot. This kid can shoot, ladies and gentlemen. If you can beat Renegade in some bandit fights, you can create some opportunities for your team. He does just that with 1 life. Unfortunately, he's going to lose Druk. Great shots from LastShot once again, but mid-control seems to be something Pure are struggling to hold right now. As aggressive as we've seen them, they cannot figure out a formula to get 4 down and the flag on the move.
Yeah, Rail 2 just posted up here in the vents, laying down some great damage. He knows that he can QT back when he needs to. That's why he's not afraid of getting aggressive just like that. And great eyes onto the teleport location.
Heads up awareness by Pure to be able to know exactly that Royal 2 is quantuming back, to know where that quantum is and to have eyes on it immediately. Not letting him get away. Frosty doing some nasty things as he picks up the snipe, the body shot to match.
And also just look at that step up in intensity. Frosty was probably hitting nastier clips than that yesterday, and you didn't see an ounce of emotion out of him. Now he realizes the stakes are really on. He respects these opponents so strong, knows how good they are, and he is getting hyped up when he makes great plays.
The good news, Roll 2 didn't get the snipe. The bad news, Frosty did, and Frosty's starting to make plays. If you saw the warm-up clip that he tweeted on Thursday, it was on Argyle, and it was disgusting. Frosty known to pop off in the mid-game situation when he picks up an S7. Trying to find an opening, but letting his team create space in front of him. Right now, the body shot, Frosty's not missing it. He hits that player to no shield, but a flank from LastShot takes that snipe out of Frosty's hand. It's immediately traded out. 2 go down, make it 3 go down for Pure. Frosty gets taken care of, but at what cost?
It's been so interesting from Pure because despite FaZe setting up all these traps and playing a little bit slower and defensive, they're still finding ways to break through. You still see times where LastShot's over at their flag. It's like, how'd you even get there? FaZe are playing it slow deliberately and watching for these sort of flanks, and those should be the free kills picking up on that flanker, but instead, they're able to slip by.
That's the gameplay of Pure. They will hit slides that are untraditional. They will be faster than any team we probably have on the circuit outside of SSG. That is how they find these opportunities against top teams. 3 down currently for Pure. Last player alive is currently going to be dealt with. It's Druk. He actually finds a kill on a Renegade. That could stall this cap. Respawners for Pure are going to have to make a play. Druk's still alive in FaZe Clan's base. That's the player to watch. Druk gets traded out by Frosty. The flag cannot turn the corner. SnakeBite gets 5. Renegade gets a 5 back, but Pure may be able to stop this flag. Royal 2 says absolutely not. LastShot. He gets that kill. Flag still down on the top elbow. Frosty's come off the respawn, got a touch. FaZe still have slays to do if they want to punch this in.
Yeah, and those kills were traded out. As a rule of thumb, when the flag is back on your half of the map, if you're going even in slays, your spawning reinforcements are going to be there quicker. That's why you see FaZe coming out ahead here, even though they're going even in slays.
Yeah, Frosty doing a great job to stall this flag, but right now this elbow player, who is it? LastShot, once again, does he expect SnakeBite to be here? The answer is no, but he's going to play his life in the window. Nobody from FaZe should be able to finish him off. SnakeBite, the last player alive, needs to get a kill. Can't get the trade. 2 players hop on the return for Pure. It's that flag still on the move. It appears that it is, and Snipe in the hands of Druk are going to take care of respawners. Pure should be able to tie this one up.
And somehow, on the back foot there,
oh no,
Pure getting all these kills, getting flagged across the map.
Oh no.
Right before this exchange, it was even at 41 kills apiece. All of a sudden, Pure pulled ahead by 6 kills. It's 49 kills for Pure, 43 kills for FaZe.
Druk's still doing work with the snipe and needs to do work. Roll 2 in his face, roll 2, no problem. Druk, no scope, body shot gives him a taste of his own medicine. Pure tie this game up 1-1.
Just like that. These Slayers who are so strong and tough to compete against. Pure outslaying FaZe here. Even being the aggressors. Generally as the aggressor, a lot of times you take a lot of entry deaths. There's a lot of uncertainty as you're making those plays. But it's working out for Pure. They've somehow been able to do this against one of the best teams. Some people might be looking at that pool play match yesterday and say, Optic must have not been on top of their game, or Pure might have been hot. No, look at Pure's also doing this against FaZe.
The player we highlighted coming into this series, Druk, was he able to find his flow in the series was the big question for me. At 17, 6, and 9, Druk having a massive impact. Not only helping his team get that fight, but removing Snipe from FaZe's base, taking that power weapon away from them. We've seen the work FaZe were able to do with their snipers so far throughout this game, but because Druk was able to get theirs, he's been able to help the cause for Pure. The flag now being pulled. It looks like Pure has been able to stop this cap, and with Druk in a position bottom middle here, if he can be aggressive with multiple members of FaZe down, he may be able to get a pull here. He tries to block the back of the base, but Renegade's going to spawn up before he's able to. Druk trying to play his life now as he's not going to shield, but Renegade on the hunt.
Druk being nuisance, draws out that player down low, and looks like Pure are going to make it a chaotic scenario once again. Look at this, Druk spotting out where 2 of the spawners are, and that's going to be the information Pure needs. They know they can run this safely all the way towards their screens, but once they get it back, they're going to meet some resistance. So right around this point, Cherished going to have to drop this flag and go for some slays.
Yeah, pay attention to the kill feed right now. Cherished needs to get his full shield back before he even tries to get this into the window. Where is FaZe Clan? Renegade gets taken down. He has SnakeBite in his window. SnakeBite's forced to drop. They may be able to get this punched in, but they're not willing to take the risk at this time. Now it happens. SnakeBite's still playing alive, but FaZe were not able to get in position. A beautiful job by FaZe, though, to still stay alive. A counter cap opportunity now on the books. Druk finds a double. That should erase that counter cap opportunity.
These players from Pure are playing so smart and so well together. They're just not panicking, not forcing plays they don't need to. So many other players in that situation, even from a top team, would say, I'm so close to this flag, can I just try to desperately get this one in and maybe give up that free kill? But instead, staying alive, allowing Druk to get that double kill and secure a guaranteed cap without a counter cap.
Veteran plays from a very young squad. That's what it's going to take to beat a team like FaZe Clan, and Pure are showing you why they have the lead with every decision being made. 2-1 now. A minute 30 on the clock, and FaZe Clan find themselves down 1.
And FaZe are also going to have to swap it up. The whole 10 minutes, the past 10 minutes, it's been Pure on the aggressive, FaZe setting up some defensive traps. Now Pure get to sit back and play their game. They can say, we get to set up some traps now. Let's see how you break through our stuff. You thought it was easy trying to defend us? try to break through us.
And with time being a massive win condition in Pure's favor, that is a much more difficult recipe for success for FaZe to try to find. You see the picks coming, staggering the respawners, not giving FaZe an opportunity to get feet across the map. Right now, a minute on the clock, says Steitzer, and we're up 2-1. Is Pure. It's the LastShot gonna back up to try and make sure mid of the map is controlled. Will they catch these overextenders towards their elbow?
One thing that this LastShot has been doing so great, one is not missing shots. That's one great thing that's to have in a teammate. But two is every single time he's shooting someone from FaZe, he's quickly repositioning to a brand new spot. So those old comms are no good. All of a sudden they're calling somebody over at their Magnum or over at their screens. And he's already repositioned across the map.
Big kill by Druk under Royal 2. That was gonna continue that flag potentially, but Druk hits the important shot to remove that flag carrier. Royal 2 did throw that flag out, but nobody on FaZe in a position to be able to get a touch. It doesn't look like 15 seconds now, and this may be the last life that Frosty gets in game 1.
Yeah, I don't really see how he's gonna make this one happen. It's gonna have to start with a kill or two though. There's a perfect kill by Frosty. He's looking for any more damage.
Just
Can anyone get the touch? 2, 1, flag gets out. We are going into overtime for a short bit.
Oh my
Frosty's gonna try and make the heroic play and grab, but it's gonna be too little too late. Renegade's gonna watch that pie chart go down, and that's gonna be game number 1. Going in favor of Pure.
Pure are here to play. Bracket play is kicked off in the hometown team. Maybe not as hot as they were on Friday. Pure are the real deal. They pushed Optic and gave Optic everything Optic wanted yesterday, and it looks like that's the same game plan for FaZe, stealing game 1.
Yeah, Pure's been saying, I've been hearing you guys talk about big 3 or big 4. You're forgetting about somebody else, and they've...
The big dog that hasn't been in the States for a minute. Druk
right? I mean,
back.
they've shown up so strong against FaZe throughout this series so far. They show up so strong against Optic. I mean, Lightning doesn't strike twice in the same spot.
I think the man of the hour has got to be Druk right now, and if he can play like he did in game 1, some of those crucial kills at some very important moments where flags were being pulled, whether it was his own or in the opportunities that we saw Pure getting some of those flag pulls. It was Druk that was picking up that enemy snipe for FaZe, putting it to work, putting respawners back in respawn before they even had a chance to play the game. And as we take a look at some of the highlights, the S7 was having a massive impact at the start of the game, but throughout the game, Dave, we saw Pure handle that S7 damage that we saw FaZe was able to do, and eventually they started getting the snipes themselves, and I can't recall seeing an S7 in FaZe's hands for the second half of that game.
No, we never saw it, or never longer than like 30 seconds or so. Never was it comfortable.
Yeah.
Every so often, they would always have to be checking to their side. They knew someone's either behind them or near their base, and that's an uncomfortable spot. You want to have your whole back clear, and then you just want to be perched up somewhere up high and lay down shots from afar.
And that's a testament to Pure's play style. When we say they play quick, they play untraditional. They can throw you off. They can make it very difficult for you to find that comfort, to have everybody put in front of you. That's why probably Royal 2 was posted up at his base for so long. He wants everyone to be in front of him, but Pure able to get behind enemy lines and steal game 1. Taking a look at the series layout, we have Aqua Slayer coming up next, and this is a bread and butter for FaZe, but Pure, the dog is here to play, and they are up 1-0. If they can manage to get 50 kills here in this game too, what a special momentum they would have an opportunity to run with.
I mean, yeah, I don't really recall many times throughout that last game, throughout the whole 12 minutes, where FaZe were getting advantage and then charging all across the map and having straight pushes like that. Whereas Pure, the exact opposite. They didn't even have to have anyone down from FaZe, and they found ways to break through the defense. They found ways to charge through. Aquarius is going to be a game like that. There's going to be moments where you get a kill or two, and you're going to collapse and try to keep that lead. There's also going to be a lot of neutral scenarios, and Aquarius, I would say even more so than Argyle, you have just some sneaky routes you can take. You can send someone bomb snare, you can send someone pink one, car. There's different areas that you can slip on by. So we're going to have to see if that works well against FaZe here, or if FaZe are going to have an answer to that style of play on Aquarius.
Although Aquarius, you'd think, plays traditionally like the midships of the world, there are specific sight ones that are blocked, like you're bringing up, that make it very problematic if you're not catching on to these players as they're hitting those routes. They can get behind you very quickly. There's tons of G-slides front to base where all of a sudden they were front yellow, now they're blue-pink stairs running up it. So it's very it's very important that FaZe are able to keep tabs on some of these players moving across. Right now, taking a look at the Slayer stats for these teams, it's a record of 3-1 for FaZe, it's a 3-0 for Pure, and the differential is in Pure's favor as well. That's got to give you some hope if you're a Pure fan. If we can go up 2-0 on FaZe, surely we can close it out in one of the last three.
Yeah, both on that streak right here, and like you said, with that average margin as well for Pure. Seems like that when they win harder.
Yeah, maybe something to prove here as they finally have had some great practice with this team before a North American LAN tournament. And right now we're kicking it off with Taulek. Unfortunately, Taulek's lost 2 of his teammates. He's got 1 kill to answer. That overshield's still up, but FaZe is on the prowl. They're able to take him down. It's the LastShot, the last player alive actually for Pure, able to get that overshield, able to put it to use. FaZe spawning over at yellow. LastShot's gonna get some great damage as his teammate pushes into the base. He knows this overshield is his best friend right now as these respawners for FaZe get collapsed on and this game gets tied up.
LastShot's like, I would be challenging this even if I didn't have overshield. And just look at that too. I also appreciate LastShot backing up, trying to just get the headshot versus a melee trade. So many of these players at the highest level are so accustomed just going for that melee trade because it's just this, better safe than sorry play to make. LastShot trying to get a little greedy, trying to make sure he gets a 1-for-0 kill in a situation where he has a slight advantage.
It's an early lead here for Pure now after that couple of kills. 10-7. Druk with the heat wave in his back pocket also has thrust. So Druk with all the power that's on the map in Aqua right now is that overshield not near respawning. They know where FaZe is. They're going to be on the yellow side of the map. How does Druk choose to play this? He's got a couple of players that are going to be in this flag, and he has the perfect weapon to flush them out.
Yeah, he knows that there's some players playing sneaky and defensive there. Now what can he do about it? Doesn't know that there's 2 over on that flag. Frosty ends up falling there. Cherished also gets a kill answered. I believe Pure has more information on where players are across the map. Now what can they do with it? And it looks like Druk and crew decides to rotate away from that control.
I like that. Cycling back to get those grenades. Overshield going to be coming up here in 12 seconds. And it does look like Pure have a majority of the map control. This thrust heat wave could be so dangerous. A big pick to finish that kill as 2 members of FaZe go down with overshield coming up. Pure should have an advantage here to pick this overshield up. And it's Druk going forward again. Now with heat wave, overshield, and thrust in hand. That's everything you could ask for an Aquarius matchup right now. A 4-kill lead, and let's see what Pure can do.
And look at this. All eyes on Druk right now. They know where he's at. Can they get the finish? They decide to charge on out. That's 2 members down, and these other 2 are going to fall. There's no way that they can survive this onslaught. There goes Royal 2. There goes Renegade. And this is the staggered spawns that Pure are looking for on a Slayer.
You're hoping for a trade from maybe one of those players if you're FaZe, but no, Pure actually cleanly get those kills, flip the map perfectly with an 8-kill lead. Druk has had this heat wave and thrust for the past 2 minutes. He had overshield pair with it. He spots Frosty trying to hit a route, doesn't hit the shots though, and that could be the opening FaZe lead.
Also, look at how much control Pure have across the map. You saw Druk just dancing across the top center. No shots coming over from level 2 of the flag because members of FaZe were too worried about getting over towards the util and towards the bridge side. They wanted to just circle out of the base. They didn't want to get trapped in that base, but showed how much control that they had. And with it, an 8-kill lead for Pure here. If they just keep up this kind of pace, they're going to be fine. But you know, you can never count out a squad like FaZe. It's FaZe. We have yet to see them get control in this map and control the spawns.
I will say, having a very comfortable lead right now at 8. Aqua's not a map with a lot of power that comes on it. Just the heat wave, the thrust, and the overshield to play around. Some big kill swings don't tend to happen on this map. The longer you can ride this 8-kill lead out, the more comfortable you start to feel if you're Pure. 26-18, still an 8-kill lead, and it's LastShot at 10-3-6 right now, leading the way. Renegade trying to do his best at 10-2-6 on FaZe, but the rest of the boys need to step up if this game's gonna get any closer.
Look at this. Little deja vu, except from the other side here. FaZe trying to make a similar push from util into the flag with Heatwave. That one not nearly as successful as Royal 2 was taken out there quickly, but kills being traded out, and when kills are traded out, that heavily favors a team that is in the lead. But we are now seeing the first OS go in the hands of SnakeBite. Let's see what the captain can do.
That overshield's given to FaZe because Renegade gets a double he might not have should have gotten. And right now, let's see what this overshield can transition to. The first kill onto Taulek, he can't quite acquire it, but these players are all stuck. Taulek's gonna slide out on the bridge. That's a free kill for SnakeBite. Now with numbers advantage, FaZe look to collapse. SnakeBite knows that there was a player in the closet, but he doesn't see him. That player must have gotten out. Right now, LastShot goes down as well. The other player's trying to fight outside pink for Pure, but the collapse comes through. But Pure find the opportunity to get out of dodge. They sprint pink 1 and get away from that fight. And with this overshield dwindled and a 6-kill lead still remaining for Pure, a job well done to negate the damage that overshield could have done.
Those rotations from Pure are so good. They move so fast, and even though we saw SnakeBite quick there and run towards pink side, at that point they had already rotated out. They had already secured a separate fight with another member from FaZe, so it feels like either you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't. You either charge too fast and you fall into a trap, or you don't go fast enough and your teammates get isolated.
Look at how Pure control this map right now. They are doing such a good job on one of the best slayers for FaZe. They are writing the textbook on how to create and set the pace. Right now, 2 players pushing Renegade, 2 players meeting their demise as Renegade able to get a little bit of help from his friends, able to make this a 7-kill game, and at 14-3-9, Renegade has got to be the player for FaZe that is stepping up and keeping them in a manageable situation, but 7 kills as it continues to approach 50 becomes more and more dangerous.
Yeah, no surprise why Renegade has those stats. Even running into a 2v1 there where one person was one shot. Just perfect positioning, played it calm, gets the head glitch or, gets that height advantage on that second player and just waits for some call-up. It was just so well done by Renegade. In many other cases, I think players would just panic there, try to trail out that one shot and die.
These kills are big. These kills are huge. Overshield coming up right now. 5-kill game. FaZe get 3 unanswered kills. And right now, this is the moment. That overshield actually gets dwindled, but a lot of information for FaZe to play around. They have not been able to collapse successfully. 2 players at yellow, 2 players at blue with Pure split on the map. How do FaZe plays this situation? Frosty has his eyes set on blue, but Royal 2 is going to trade inside the base. There should be a player in this closet, but that player continues to rotate so perfectly. Taulek felt the presence of Frosty that whole time and gets out of dodge before he loses his life. He does receive some damage, and now Frosty, with that assist, is going to have so much damage and collapse on these players with his team. This is FaZe's moment to come back in game 2.
Yeah, FaZe need it right now, but it's got to be so difficult playing against the style of Pure. You find out where somebody's at, you get some shots, and before you know it, like you said, G-slide, they move across the map, they just relocate way too quick. They're not just sitting targets, they're always moving. And at some point you have to hear a call out over at pink and you gotta say, all right, well that means they're gonna be pink 1, bomb center, or fridge.
Now you start to feel the pressure. This game just slowed down to a snail's pace. A 4-kill lead, the closest it's been since early in this game. FaZe starting to dissect Pure, not Pure's play style. They're known for flying right now. Now they feel like they're a little bit trapped. Now the pressure's starting to build. How will these young guns trying to create this upset figure out a way to find their pace back in this game? Because if they keep this slow pace up, FaZe will break through.
Renegade just taking this so slow, making sure that there's some distraction, some noise, but by the time he makes the flank, it's too late. He didn't get there just in time. It's such a difficult position to be. He didn't want to make too much noise, but he's being sneaky. He's getting behind enemy lines, but by the time he actually makes the maneuver, players have already moved on to a new location.
I mean, such a slow, methodical pace right now. Renegade helps this team get another kill. Still a 4-kill game, 10 seconds for overshield. FaZe with control of the map. Pure are going to look to push for this overshield, and that is where this game will be determined.
Here comes the OS, Cherished and Renegade, both eyes on it. Renegade gonna slam that one in. 4-kill game. He's getting some damage over the util. Can it be finished? Instead, he isolates a fight over at Fridge. This should be a free kill onto Cherished. Cherished gets some good damage and at least melts the OS.
Taulek's on the fly trying to finish off Renegade. Renegade not giving him an angle. Taulek doesn't appear to have an aid, and because Taulek is focused on Renegade and Renegade is not giving him anything, Royal 2 finds the kill. All of a sudden, a 3-kill game. The closest it's been since the early margin. LastShot's gonna be pink 1, LastShot's gonna be deleted. No longer pink 1, he's on respawn. Cherished is on the pink jump. Renegade knocked to no shield by some great nades, but no shield. No one has an opportunity to finish this kill off, and Renegade spots Cherished on the pink stairs. Cherished is by himself and decides to get out of dodge. The map continues to slow down. FaZe continues to catch up. If you are Pure, you have to find a way to pick the pace back up because you are falling right into where FaZe wants you to be.
Yeah, and this is tough. It feels
it's
like
tied.
They are one of those rosters that can start to find those small patterns and changes that you do as a team, and they can find weaknesses in that. Now a 1-kill game, which used to be a 6-kill game. seems to be control the overshield,
Oh, big
control
shot.
the fate of your game. That's a 2-kill lead for Pure as you're at 45 to 43. New OS coming up in 45 seconds, but I'm not sure if we'll get that far.
47-43. Pure have broken the setup of FaZe. The control is lost. The last two players for FaZe stuck top yellow. They have to fight their way out of this. Royal 2 able to get a kill, but here comes Taulek and Druk. Taulek finishes off Royal 2, but Renegade finds a double in the back. 48-46. Renegade stays alive. 48-47. Somehow, Renegade creating something out of nothing makes this a winnable game. FaZe take it 48-48. 2 kills to go. Overshield in 15. All of Pure spawning in the back of blue.
The plays from Renegade that back the flag has changed the fate of this game. Now can they take advantage of it and close it out? 48-48, ice in their veins. Who is going to come ahead with this one? Overshield gonna be put in the hands of Royal 2 or SnakeBite. Looks like SnakeBite was able to snag it.
Oh!
2 balls. And they go down. Somehow, despite having the better position for Overshield, they fall down at OS. I believe SnakeBite also got picked before he was able to slam that OS. So they set up a trap at OS saying, bait this Overshield, go for the kills, and close out the game.
That's exactly what happened. Pure knew Overshield were coming up. They knew FaZe were going to try and play for it. Pure had no intention of going for that Overshield. They played, can we find the picks around as this player picks up the Overshield? They kill Frosty pink 2, they kill Royal 2 pink 1, and that 2 kills allows you to breathe a little bit lighter. If you lose that game, you lose that game too if you're Pure. All the momentum you got from game 1 erased. The series is now tied up. But the fact that they now get to take this break, get to catch their breath and say, one more game, and we can continue our winners bracket run and take down the juggernauts, the favorites for our tournament, the champions of London. It says FaZe won it. That graphic's wrong, ladies and gentlemen. That was Pure coming out on top.
Yeah, and I don't blame you either, because going into that 48-48 scenario with FaZe having the better position, I thought they were winning that game as well.
It was close, and FaZe did everything to crawl back. Renegade gave them magic.
And that's one scary part too, is generally when you look at a series and you start to think about, okay, if you take a game off FaZe, it's generally, okay, how, where are we catching them off guard? What was going right or wrong? You had a Renegade that was playing out his mind that game. He was living and getting double kills in situations he had no business in. And you still somehow take down a FaZe with a red-hot Renegade.
It's got to make you feel like you belong. It's got to make you feel like this is real life. Like, I know those guys are walking to the back right now in between games and games 2 and 3, and they're like, hey, pinch me. Are we up 2-0 on FaZe? Absolutely are, and it's because you are playing such good Halo. That Pure's ability to recognize where pressure was coming from when FaZe had map control and to rotate out of it, to minimize the damage in these disadvantageous positions is the reason that they were able to maintain the lead they were. Now that game got dangerous, Dave. That game got scary. It was a massive lead for Pure the entire time, but as it slowed down, you could tell who the better team was when it took stalemates and cohesion in order to get the job done. They started to crawl back. They were finding their picks. They just didn't give themselves enough room for error to come all the way back there.
Yeah, and by the time they clawed back, I assumed it was going to be just great for them. And let's take a quick look at these oddball stats here in the 2024 season so far. Pure 2-0 versus FaZe's 4-2. You got to keep in mind maybe what level of competition or what teams are playing, and strength of schedule, I guess you would say.
Absolutely.
On some of these.
I would question it. We know FaZe. We know FaZe.
Time here.
Okay.
I'm also seeing a 2-0 thus far here from Pure. Now let's take a look at the slaying department, because the last 2 games, despite it being close to game 2, has been in favor of Pure. Now looking at SnakeBite and Royal 2, their KDs versus complexity and pools were out of this world. Now one thing I'll say is, this roster ain't looking like complexity right now. This roster is on a whole nother level here from Pure.
This roster's scary in Pure, but if you're seeing game 3 as oddball, you know how much work. Tony and Lottie talked about it in the pre-show coming into this series about how strong FaZe is at oddball at this time. That used to be a weakness of game type. It used to be something that you could maybe beat them in, that they would slip up at.
Especially Big 3. Big 3 before was like, all right, oddball against FaZe. Like, there was
Optics probably favored it, right? But no longer is that the case at London. Their oddball was perfect. This is the map mode combination that FaZe want to see in order to get back into the series? Give me the longest game possible where they truly have to outplay us in order to get us off of the winner's bracket. This is the game that could turn this series around for FaZe. What are you expecting from FaZe on Live Fire Oddball to find more control? Because I feel like in games 1 and 2, it has been pure with control of the map a majority of the time, with the ability to set the pace more, and that tends to lead to victories.
Yeah, oddly enough, I felt like there was that one specific scenario on Aquarius Slayer where I saw Druk just kind of like literally like dancing around top center, being able to like go from top center to bomb center without getting punched at all. And I feel like FaZe have always done such a good job of having like that anchor roll or somebody in just that power position, just laying down shots, and somebody you have to deal with before you can make any move. Generally, I think of someone like a Frosty up in tower on Live Fire, or Royal 2 up there. And I usually always see that on Aquarius, like Royal 2 or Frosty just sitting back level 2 of the base, just laying down shots, and not allowing somebody to just be able to go out in those open positions.
Right.
I don't know why that was missing. There could have been obviously very good reasons for very specific situations why somebody was not there, somebody was not able to punish a player in that situation. But I feel like they've just had a lot more freedom than I'm accustomed to when it comes to moving around the map. Here just seemed like they have way more freedom to do what they can do and get flanks. And I'm just like, how are they getting by here? They either have a different Halo 6 sense or just know what they can get around, or FaZe just aren't having just that standard position.
I find that's that flow I try to describe. When Druk and LastShot and these players that are playing at such a high pace, when they find their flow, when they go unchecked, when they go undamaged throughout and unseen throughout some of these routes that they take, they create so many problems. And the fact that they look so comfortable, Druk being top middle in that situation screamed to me, I know that they're not going to look at me. I know I can take.
Or he just knew that players at Util and players over at Fridge Side, like, I can just do this.
Just such comfortability in such a big series for these guys in a game that got very close. To be playing against FaZe and to have that level of calmness that you're running across Aquarius top middle tells me that you are so locked in, that you are receiving all this information and making the right decisions. That is the testament of what it takes to be a top team. That is the testament of what it takes to create an upset of this magnitude.
Yeah, you got to give so much credit to Pure right here, because I feel that they are just playing with confidence. They're playing how they normally would. They aren't playing scared or different against someone like FaZe. They are playing their game, and it's showing how well that they're doing so far in the series.
Absolutely. One more game, the boys are telling themselves in the back, but FaZe tend to be...
Don't get in that mindset of one more game. Just get one moment at a time. Let's take it one kill at a time. Don't be like, all of a sudden, when you're like, all right, one more game, that's like 2-1. Like, oh, just one more game. All right, guys, we're in game 5.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
Hey, we still need one more game. Anybody feel like closing the door on this one? Because a team like FaZe, I mean, how many times do we see the big three, Optic, SSG, FaZe, go down in series and against teams that they're not supposed to? FaZe went down 0-2, and I think reverse Cloud9 last tournament. SSG had to do it against Sentinels. All sorts of reverse sweeps happen in the HCS, and it always seems like it's the big dogs that like have a little bit longer to wake up, especially early in the bracket play. But it's time to wake up, FaZe. This is your hometown. The fans are here to watch you. And it's going to be Live Fire Oddball that you have to spark the flame. My eyes have got to be on Royal 2. I think he has had an extremely quiet series so far. And that's untraditional because, I mean, if we're talking about the best to ever do it, the best Slayer, the most positive player in the history of Halo, having a quiet series, that does not happen often, if ever. So Royal 2, what can you give us on Live Fire Oddball to get back into this?
Yeah, I mean, when I'm looking across that board too, like you said, Renegade, you can't ask for much more of him.
He's doing his part.
He's been doing fantastic. Now, the rest of the squad gonna have to match this firepower ferocity that you're seeing out of Pure. And they gotta do it now. I mean, we're in game 3, you're down 0-2. FaZe gotta wake up.
And this is the map mode combination that FaZe has tried to put so much work in for the past 6 months. And we'll see if that work pays off here. Their oddball, like I said, it was flawless in London. They put extra work into making sure that they fine-tune this situation. And this would be a good time for that work to pay off. Let's get back into this, and we're kicking it off with no one else other than the greatest Slayer of all time, Royal 2. Making his way towards Camo, it's obviously delayed, but they're gonna try and take early control towards this side of the map. No one quite worried about that oddball. FaZe are gonna get the first kill. It's answered right back. Druk gonna challenge Royal 2. Royal 2 forced it back down, but the flank from the player with Quantum who came from green, is already in Royal 2's face, and you could tell that that pace kind of threw Royal 2 off. However, Frosty has found himself the snipe with camo up. It looks like FaZe have control of this camo side of the map. However, the oddball being rotated to Big Door, Pure have early time.
And this is tough for Frosty because Frosty's saying, hey, if we get a play ball or something, I'm in the perfect spot. But now Frosty's going to have to maneuver across the map with that snipe, and Renegade just knowing he has to find the right opening in here before he pushes in to get this kill. It looks like Druk almost gets that trade, and that's basically a 1-for-1 on a one-shot.
Yeah, it gets traded out, and not only a one-shot, but camo gets lost as well. Frosty tracks down this ball carrier. It's just 13 points, but a good job to negate the camo potential swing that FaZe could have gone on. However, you still got to deal with Frosty. 3 assists to his name, 4 go down for Pure, and FaZe will have their first oddball set up here on Livefire.
He has a shaky start to breaking that setup, but end of the day, FaZe got it done. Now they get to hold the ball on their half, decide how to play this, but Cherished and crew, no fear, flying across the top of the map, and now FaZe were originally going to rotate that towards green to get ready for a play ball. Instead, they have to go towards rat tunnel.
Yeah, this setup, it gets broken. 3 go down. Renegade, the last player alive in the back of house. Renegade finds a big kill to make this setup much weaker for respawners. A lot of information on where the rest of Pure is as well, as multiple players are seen on Renegade's death cam. However, FaZe are going to be spawning towards the dummies. They're going to have to relocate. Royal 2 already A-plat, and SnakeBite and Royal 2 are able to find that first kill scoreboard. This ball's still neutralized. Pure do not get an opportunity in the setup because Renegade was able to find that one kill, and now the reinforcements are here for FaZe.
Look at that, Druk just buying as much time as he can over in that window, drawing a couple players, and unfortunately, ball is reset, so despite FaZe trying to take over Garage, it doesn't matter. Garage is no longer the most important spot on the map, and look at this trap here. Taulek and crew got the sandbags. They get one pick, and now they get to close in on this ball.
Yeah, it gets traded out though. It's a 3v3 situation. That ball is dropped, and let's look for FaZe to slay here. Taulek in the back of the base. Royal 2 finds 1. Royal 2 finds 2. 2 big kills as camo is coming up. Royal 2 still a problem. Gets another player with no shield. SnakeBite there to clean it up. 3 down for Pure. SnakeBite gets taken down and traded out. That ball's still neutralized, but camo will be in the hands of FaZe.
LastShot, the only one alive, gonna get a few shots of damage in, but eventually taken out, and that's gonna be staggered spawns here for Pure. Now, do Pure decide to pump the brakes for a moment, or they decide to push? It looks like Taulek's also taken out, so seems like they're not being defensive at this moment, and they're engaging all the way over here at the tower.
Renegade chooses to bring that ball towards his teammate, but he still has this camo. He wants to slay, and with snipe coming up, he wants the snipe. But Pure set that up as a trap. They hit him with the grenades, and now snipe out of the hands of Renegade, and numbers in their advantage. They should be able to break what was potentially going to be a FaZe playing setup. Nobody from FaZe in a position to get that ball as Renegade had that camo, and because he had to bring it across the map himself, they're not able to get any time.
And look how quickly Pure are countering FaZe if they go immediately for a power-up or power weapon. They have grenades just sitting right there, ready to go. They know that FaZe, if they see an opening or opportunity,
these guys like
snag that really quick and try to be as efficient as possible.
Yeah, they know these guys like the snipe, and they're going to go for it. So they throw that bait down on the hook, and they reel it back in with the kill, and they destroy a chance that would have been a setup. However, since then, it's been a 2-2 split. Taulek with some big shots there to keep his life. Unfortunately, 2 members of FaZe have made their way to tower. Great damage onto another player. Taulek doing so much here to stay alive. He gets another assist and another kill, and that's going to result in Pure having a setup all because Taulek and his individual skill was showcased there.
Yeah, and you saw Royal 2 having to back down there despite having the better position, just realizing shots were not going in his favor and eventually getting flanked to at the tower. Kills about even. 27 for FaZe, 23 for Pure, and ball time, however, slightly in favor of Pure.
Taulek doing so much damage to so many different players before he finally gets taken down. Royal 2's going to find the kill on the Druk. LastShot trying to play his life, but FaZe have swarmed the tower. They have 2 dead, and now Cherished should be spotted over here at green. He is going to be shooting, so Renegade will have good shots onto him, but Cherished with 5 of his own shows you that, hey, the pickup might have been worth it. Pure looking like a demon out here, taking down the demon out here. That ball is going to be rotated to tower by Frosty, but Frosty's going to drop it and slay. That ball still neutralized top tower. No separation between these two. Just 3 points separate them in this first round, but Pure doing a fantastic job dealing with FaZe so far.
Yeah, neither team is able to get a really long setup. There's a lot of times where somebody eventually gets it towards Garage or towards Tower, and it ends up being like a 40-point run. Instead, we've been seeing more like 15, 20-point runs at most.
This is big. FaZe found 2 kills.
Oh my God.
Taulek is going to pick up the camo, but 3 going down as FaZe have the oddball top tower will allow them to get some significant time. Frosty will know that Taulek has this camo. Frosty's going to drop back tower with the ball, start rotating it towards respawners over at green, and that's a beautiful rotation by FaZe.
Yeah, they're going to get this play ball here in a moment there. Frosty jumps it on off, and that's going to be a 14-point lead. Also, with the pace that this game is going thus far, I feel like you're headed more towards around a 75, 80-point game. I've always tried to look at objective games and how many points have been scored at the halfway mark.
That's a big kill from SnakeBite. Somehow SnakeBite gets 2 on his own, and including the ball carrier, it denies any time for Pure. Pure were looking to rotate that ball off the play ball from Frosty, back to tower and have a setup. SnakeBite destroys that storyline immediately. LastShot's gonna throw that ball back bottom middle, because here are
Oh my God!
beautiful shots from LastShot to somehow get a kill at that angle. That's disgusting, but Renegade's gonna be on the prowl as Renegade spot him. Renegade spots him, but can't hit the no-scope. The ball, it's on the move, however. Pure rotate that ball. LastShot did everything he could to buy his ball carrier time. Now that ball in big door is gonna be something Pure are gonna have to make a decision. Do they rotate it to green trying to get a prey ball? Because here comes FaZe and the rest of Renegade.
Yeah, they're going to need to get that play ball if they can, but it's not going to be their choice. FaZe are putting on the pressure, and there is no way to push out towards green. You got SnakeBite watching the entrance. Instead, they opt to bring it towards Rat Tunnel. Another player in there, but doesn't matter when you hit shots like that. He goes for the no-scope instead. I didn't see if he didn't have any bandit ammo or what in his clip, but that could be a dire mistake.
3 dead. Go Pure. 26 seconds. FaZe take a lead, and we will see how FaZe choose to play this. They now starting to build this lead. At what point did they decide to play time? Trades from Cherished. He picks up not only a stick, but a kill with the sticky onto Frosty. A double with nades is what the doctor ordered for Pure to break this setup. It's a 10-point lead, 15 seconds remaining. The ball neutralized currently, but LastShot trying to flush this player out. Has a teammate, but here come the reinforcement for FaZe. Renegade, the last player alive in the back of house. Surrounded. Now, 7 points to go. When they get the lead, they will drop the ball. They will try to slay.
Yep, waiting for 2 more points, and then here comes the slaying round as it's LastShot drops the ball, trying to secure this first round. They cannot let FaZe touch this ball. Push coming in from Sandbags, and they need to touch quick. Can anyone get close? Nobody in position to get the ball touch, and that's gonna be round 1 going for Pure, despite getting outslayed. They got outslayed by 4 kills in that round. Not a significant margin, but still outslayed and out objective.
And it takes you back to the play where Renegade had camo in the ball and nobody would come get it for him. A mistake, a crucial mistake that FaZe missed some much opportune time there. Pure now with a 1-0 lead, a 2-0 lead in the series. One more round of oddball to try and take down the juggernauts, the favorites, the champions themselves. FaZe Clan, LastShot hitting the flank bottom middle. LastShot catching Royal 2 with his pants down bottom middle. Catching a grenade to Royal 2's face as he takes another kill away from FaZe. Right now though, that ball being rotated to tower. LastShot might be doing a lot, but that setup from FaZe is still strong.
Yes, they got a decent setup here, and there's the unexpected teleport in. A couple members over at Silo, they got to get that finish, and that's going to be 3 down. Royal 2, the last one alive, and Cherished already ball in hand. Now, where did they decide to set this up? We have not seen a real comfortable setup from Pure. Any single time they have the ball, FaZe are already on over there.
They do a phenomenal job of rotating. They get a player to spawn green, and they immediately, that's their trigger to try and get it there. Unfortunately, it gets cut off. Taulek is going to catch that ball. Even though he's no shield, he's going to be in a position to play that ball. FaZe may have a camouflage player somewhere on the map. It's a triple from SnakeBite as we switch point of views, but the ball gets picked up immediately and gets thrown towards respawners again. Pure starting to play keep away from FaZe.
Yeah, Wes, before this game started, you said, who from FaZe is going to step it up to match Frosty? SnakeBite has answered that call, but is it enough to bring them over the hump? Because right here, despite heroic efforts, despite getting a triple kill, that's still frustrating. Seeing a ball go immediately in the hands of Pure after you get a triple kill.
Yeah, the last player alive and doing a phenomenal job to get that ball into a highly contested spot. Pure have had time to come off respawn and find some kills of their own. It's a 2v3 situation. Renegade was able to find a kill, but one kill's not going to cut it as FaZe get cut down. They get put back on spawn. Players are bottom middle still, creating this very difficult for Pure to rotate this ball. They are going to be able to collect themselves, pick that ball up, and get it towards the cuts. The Quantum's going to be up at green, but nobody near that. So I want to pay attention to the setup here for Pure. It's a bit of a rotational setup. These kills could be so massive. One kill gets acquired, the ball just taken up the cuts, and now Pure with their pants down themselves have to play the rotation game. Camo's coming up in 10 seconds, and Renegade wants to create some space, and that he does.
It was interesting seeing that switch flip for a moment there by Pure. You saw a time when they're normally the aggressors. They're originally pushed across the map every single spot. It almost, like they said, that last garage position, they said, all right, guys, get in your sneaky spots. You saw someone hide by a window. You saw, I believe it was Taulek over by key door. And you saw that first backsmack kind of entry kill. These players can either be aggressive, fly across the map and be really quick, or at some points they have so many different sneaky spots that they've learned throughout playing twos and playing this game for the last years.
Look at how passive Renegade's playing with this camo. He's just patrolling this dummy door right now. He's able to pick up one kill towards the camo, but this ball's still neutralized. This camo not having maybe the massive impact that you really expected to. Cherished doesn't have his eyes on snipe, as Renegade is the last player alive. He's gonna have that snipe, but now he's got a world of Pure in front of him. He is gonna be able to back up, get his shields back, but Pure once again run away with the ball. They continue to extend this lead past 20.
Yeah, this has just been a slay fest. Both sides evenly matched, though. Essentially 68 kills there for FaZe, and here comes a couple more in their favor. They get that answer kill, and look at this adjustment. Just so used to all these players rotating out. Renegade knowing somebody's gonna go through Rat Tunnel and run away. Now they have numbers advantage, but he runs into two members at key door. So despite being at the right place, you run into two players and it doesn't fully go in your favor.
It's the last shot, can't hit either of the snipe shots when he has an opportunity to. Because of that, he's forced to back up. Pure went 2 down, so I like LastShot rotating away from the situation. You know FaZe is going to be focused on where is this sniper. This ball is at green. World 2 should be able to play it, but if he gives his head an opportunity for LastShot to take, he may just do that. He hits the no-scope on the SnakeBite, but as I say that, kills are being traded back and forth. Taulek and Frosty arise from the dust of the fight. The last 2 players alive, but once again, Pure on top of the play ball. Frosty in no man's land at green. It will favor Pure.
Frosty doing everything he can to get back into this fight.
That's a big kill.
They get 2 big kills onto Cherished and Druk, and that's going to be some ball time marking up here for FaZe. Can they get a full setup for a short period of time? They're down by about 20 points when they first grab this ball. Let's see how long this run goes for FaZe. I don't expect them to run this all the way towards green. I expect them to keep this towards tower or run it back towards mud.
Big rotation from Frosty. He picks up that ball, takes it towards the tower, and now because of that, FaZe have a setup, even though they didn't get the slays. However, Frosty eats the grenade, and then all of a sudden, he turns around. Pure have taken tower control themselves. No play ball to be done there, and now Pure extend the lead back to 20 in their favor.
And despite a couple other members of FaZe going down, they're used to being able to get a play ball in that situation. You have ball over at C-Plat, you know you're gonna eventually get that play, but somehow Taulek or Druk snuck behind there, got a little too close to that ball carrier, took out Frosty before he's able to play ball, and now instead of a game that should be closer to tie, it's Pure up 70-36.
34-point game for Pure, and they need to end this round to beat FaZe Clan in 3-0 fashion. That sounds unheard of, but ladies and gentlemen, this is reality. Druk trying to push the pace here. Ball in the hands of FaZe, but Druk able to at least take down Frosty to make this setup a little bit weaker. Renegade falls as well in the kill feed. Royal 2 able to trade out Renegade, so it's a 2-2 situation. Royal 2 and SnakeBite versus Taulek and Druk. Druk not able to get into the combat loop fast enough, and the respawner of Frosty able to deny him access to the big door as that ball gets rotated out. FaZe have now made this just a 10-point game with this setup.
Look at this, Druk and crew deciding to focus on tower, get a little bit of control in this. You don't need to stop the ball immediately, but you can't let them continue this run. This tower is gonna counter the nest setup so well, and because of that, ball gets played just right away. Now, do Pure decide to grab this right away or get around to slays? Because it is a tie game.
Yeah, FaZe have woken up. They just had just about 34 unanswered points. That ball gets played, but once again, Pure on top of it, continuing to push the pace of this game, forcing the hand of FaZe. Taulek is going to be unsuspected back tower. Knows that there's going to be a player from FaZe back tower, but this snipe is exactly what Taulek wants in his hands. He can't hit the body shot on the SnakeBite, but he has good information. Unfortunately, now Taulek finds himself completely out of the play where that all ball is. He's going to rotate over towards the pillars. The all ball is going to be bottom middle, but Taulek not in a position right now to impact any of the outcome of the game. You got to get involved, and here comes Frosty.
Yeah, he originally got back down from top tower, and I feel like took a safe but bad rotation, just being way out of the fight throughout the entire time. SnakeBite instead was over at cuts, in the action, getting some fights, but don't worry, you got Cherished and LastShot and Druk somehow picking up 3 kills for you. while you're across the map distracted, Taulek, that's going to be all 4 down for FaZe, and they're going to try to secure this last set for the last 14 points.
13 points, and Taulek lands a body shot that's going to stop Renegade's ability to push. SnakeBite and Royal 2 are still coming off spawn. 7 points to go. The upset seems like a reality. The ball carrier, however, goes down. That buys FaZe some time. These fights are crucial, and Taulek beats Frosty. Druk is here as well. The grenades came through. The no-scope does, but he gets hit by a grenade. 3 down for FaZe, 3 up for Pure, and they're on top of the ball. 5 points to go, and FaZe Clan will be eliminated to the lower bracket. Pure get it done, and the biggest win of their careers so far happens in winners bracket round 1 in dominant fashion.
They played so well. Members of FaZe were also playing incredible there, so you can't just say you caught them on a cold day. But Pure brought the hype, came out, dominated FaZe 3-0, and now moved on to the winners in the semis.
Welcome back, Druk. And what a series for It's the Last Shot, Cherished, Taulek and Druk. They just took down FaZe, Dave. We were supposed to see FaZe in the winners bracket finals, but no, their journey's gonna be long if they plan on finding a way to go back-to-back, because they are in elimination bracket round 1, and it is because this Pure team truly was tested by Optic yesterday, but maybe learned a thing or two in that big series, and maybe improved on a couple of things, because they looked great in all 3 of those games.
Yeah, before we were questioning Optic, and now we're just more so praising Pure with how good they are. So maybe answers the question, would you rather have the easier or more challenging pool? Give me challenging pool.